You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Great Paranormal Debate with hosts Kerry and Paul on Parasearch UK Radio.
Good evening and welcome, and you are listening to the Great Paranormal Debate. Now, we've changed things up a little bit this week. Usually the amazing Paul Rook would be getting us started and introducing myself, but tonight we've changed it a little bit differently. I have nicked Jay Lynch to join me this evening, so I'm super excited because I've never done a show with Jay before. So, hi Jay.
Hello, Kerry Ann. How are you this evening?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Just sitting around waiting to have this wonderful debate.
I know. I've been super excited. I've listened to some of your other shows and you always make me smile. So I'm really looking forward to some of your takes of the articles that we've found. It's been a bit of a day. It's been quite interesting, some of the articles that we've found. But how have you been?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm just trying to, like I said, read up and you've made me do some research on this for this show. I mean, more so than what I normally do because I'm like, oh gosh, I better come in here sounding informed or Kerry Ann might come over here and kick my bars. I don't want to look stupid.
Oh, I love the little English accent. And no, I'm gentle. I'm the gentle Kerry.
Oh, you're the nice Kerry. Don't tell Kerry I said that.
No, don't. She will. She's listening. She will kick you butt.
She's listening. She'll get me.
But so we've had some really fascinating articles that we've been looking at. The first one I want to get started with is one that our Paul Rook has actually gone to investigate himself. Now, I'm not sure whether you probably are. It's quite a famous, one of the most famous or recent famous alleged hauntings within Europe, and it is the Black Monk poltergeist, which is at 30 East Drive, Pontefract. Now, the article is a recent one. It was actually done on the 17th of March 2017, and it's a video. Now, although Kerry Greenway isn't joining us this evening on the show, she is doing the studio and sharing all the articles for us this evening. So I want to give her that a little acknowledgement because she's forever working hard on all of my shows, and she's with us tonight. But she is wonderful. But she will be sharing the articles as we talk about them. So this is the Pontefract Black Monk article that we're going to be talking about now. So did you have a look at this article?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I looked at it several times.
Yes.
I've tried to find on it to zoom in and stuff like that, and I've not been fortunate enough to be able to do that. But yeah, we'll just go with that. We'll go from there. Build off of this.
Okay, so we'll go with the story. It is about a group of paranormal investigators. They went along to 30 East Drive. One of the investigators believes that he has caught the alleged ghost of the Black Monk in a mirror as they're coming down the stairs. There's also a lot of, after this happened, the psychic medium Lillian, she did a seance where she felt like she went into an altered state, or another investigator and went into an altered state, and they actually feel like they were taken over by the Black Monk in that altered state and seance. So it was an interesting investigation for them. They were doing mirror scrying at the time when they were doing the seance and trance work. And I mean, I've looked at this video And it's really difficult, like you, Jay. I've really tried to see if I can zoom in and kind of manipulate it in ways where I could actually see a little bit better. But it reminded me of a Ghost Adventures episode that I see once, where they went to a ranch and there was a man and a woman, they were getting married, and behind them looked to be a little girl, and it was a reflection in the mirror. And what they actually proved it to be, the angle of the mirror actually was manipulated the patterns on the carpet, which actually gave the shape of a little girl dressed in white. Now, if you look at that video, and this is just my opinion, but if you look at that video as she comes down the stairs, if you look at the carpeting on the floor, it's that old English pub type big patterned circles on the floor. And now I'm assuming that the same patterns on the carpet on the floor is the same patterns on the stairs, because usually that is what happens. The carpet in the hallway and the stairs are the same. If that's the case, then surely that could be, in my opinion, what could actually create that pattern on the floor. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely, because I'm looking at it again from the beginning, and if you look at the beginning of it, you can really see the pattern really well. And when they first come down the steps, you see the mirror to the left, and you see the same thing. You see movement towards it, and then they pan back at it, and it looks like where the two gentlemen are standing in front of the mirror, and then you see the supposed apparition in between them. It could very well be reflection of the carpeting, especially with the patterns on the stairs, and it looks like the same as on the bottom at the landing. I agree with you on that.
See, what would be really good, and it would mean that you'd have to go along, is to firstly verify whether that is the case, whether there is the same patterned carpet on the land as in the hallway as there is on the stairs, and also see if that you could create that. I mean, I don't know whether that mirror, if you look on that wall as well, it looks like it's got the two kind of patterned wallpaper. So you have the pattern at the top, the plain at the bottom, and then it was really kind of British kind of decor, where you'd have the, and I'll be careful how I say this, the dodo rail that used to go through the middle, and it would be wooden. So if that mirror's sitting on top of that, maybe that mirror is it would be more of an angle. So the bottom of the mirror will be against the bottom of the wall, whereas the top of the mirror might come out of it, because that's not going to sit flat, is it?
Absolutely not. And if you get just a few seconds into it, when she's first coming down the steps, actually, if you get to about the 42nd mark and stop the frame, because you can't stop it, you can't zoom in or anything, but you'll notice, you already know that if you watch the entire video, when she turns to the right, there's a mirror there where there's a hat and all that stuff, and she picks it up. There's also the mirror straight ahead of you. You see the back of her head and the back of her back a little bit into the right side of the mirror. But to the left, there's also a doorway there, so with a glass in it, with all kinds of ornate pattern in it also. So now you have a glass door, you have the mirror to the right, and then the mirror in the middle. And the angle that mirror has kicked off the top of the wall a little bit. There's all kinds of reflections there it could be, especially with the camera going around, and with you moving with the camera, it's going to cause digitizing. I can't think of the actual term, so y'all can make fun of me for that if you want to. But it's going to cause it to, distort and the reflection of the mirror somewhat. So that it could very well be simple distortion from all those points of reflection that's all around it. There's two other things around it that could cause reflection.
Yeah, see, I agree. I mean, if you was to, as a paranormal researcher yourself, if you was to go on with that evidence, would you, on looking back on that, conclude that would be considered paranormal or unexplained?
I couldn't say that it's paranormal, because I'm not a professional with cinematography. That's why I have friends that are, because something like this I would send out to them in a heartbeat and ask them their opinion. I would send them a longer piece of the clip before and after. That's the bad thing, is a lot of people, when people post things, they send such a short, narrow piece of the clip that it doesn't give a full look into what's going on and what's been happening and where everybody's at, movement and everything else. So I wouldn't call it paranormal until I had it looked at by somebody that knows a lot more about digital cinematography than what I do.
Yeah, see, I agree there. I don't think I would automatically declare this as just on first glimpse, without having other experts involved. If I was to be presented to that by one of my team members, I would say that you would need to kind of go back, and I do really think that would be more to do with the pattern of the carpet than even, I mean, I'm looking at it now, and even now you just can barely see it. And because of the distortion behind them as well, because obviously it's dark, they're coming down from a dark stairway as well, and it's very distorted because you know the camera's obviously focus isn't the greatest because of the light. So yeah, I can barely see it anyway.
And the camera's focus is moving constantly because it's probably on autofocus, and you're moving it. So as you're moving it, it's trying to zoom in on whatever object it's going to be. The main object is going to try to zoom in on. So it's constantly distorting anyway because of being out of focus and refocusing and things. So that adds to it also. That's the bad thing about having a shot like this to where you're moving, because with that movement, it throws the whole entire use of the camera in all different directions.
Yes, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, even with this, with them both clearly looking into the mirror, neither of them are necessarily going to see it if it's been picked up. Whereas, I will say there is another article coming up where you do wonder if that's actually going on, why they never actually physically saw it with their own eyes. But this in particular, if it was something paranormal, they wouldn't necessarily see that with their own eyes. But could pick that up possibly with a camera. But nevertheless, it is really interesting. Like I said, it wasn't just that allegedly happened on the evening. I mean, 30 East Drive has its reputation. It has fast become known as, you know, the European version of the Amityville haunting. I think I've got the right location. But it is becoming Europe's fastest growing, most paranormal activity location as such. But they talk about the moment that they did the seance. I mean, there is, again, when they said they did a seance, I was kind of looking and I thought, well, why didn't they take pictures of this happening? And there is a picture of the medium that they said is in the midst of a seance. And again, poor picture quality. It does look like there's distortion over her face, but the whole picture looks distorted. So again, you know, it's not focused onto one area. But she goes on to say... Sorry.
You all have me on that with the whole seance thing, because that's something that's not really done over here, and it's so frowned upon because we've had so many people fake it over the years over here, fake seances and stuff, and it's just something over here that is absolutely that almost not too many people take serious. There's starting to be more people get involved with it now. It's starting to make a comeback, but as a whole, it's not accepted as any form of paranormal evidence in the United States. This is pretty much just like it's pretty much thought of as a parlor trick. Or entertainment.
I completely understand where you're coming from with that. For me, seance is more about physical mediumship as part of paranormal type evidence. But again, like you said, there is so many different ways that you can manipulate and fake that it is really hard. But there is, which I will share with you later, ways to prove whether someone is actually in a trance state or not, to be able to really know whether they're faking. But this is stuff that's been looked into, and it's kind of, even again, you know, it's whether it's 100%, I don't know.
Oh, make no misunderstandings about it. I have a big interest in it. It's just not accepted over here at all. I mean, I want to learn more about it, and you guys have working with Parasearch UK Radio has got my interest in a lot of different things in that realm. But it's just so hard over here to get anybody to even look at anything like that. So for me to comment on the whole seance thing, I can say a little bit, but not a whole lot because I don't know that much about it. It'd just be me talking on speculation.
No, that makes sense. But going back to the article, she goes on. The medium says, "I'm a medium, so I used this sort of thing that happens there. But for general members of the public, it would have frightened the life out of them. When we held a séance, I antagonised the energy. I cooled them down and goaded the monk. To be honest, there was numerous energies that were looking at me and following me. I know I had to bring them to the table to interact with us. While doing the séance, there was a picture taken of me that looks very creepy. I don't look like that in real life, but that is how my face turned out in the picture. People have seen a shadow fall onto my face around the table, and it is just brilliant to capture it on camera." But again, looking at this image, the whole photo is distorted, not just her face. Whereas I would prefer to just see her face distorted rather than the whole of the image. Would make it a little bit more plausible. Do you think?
Absolutely. When they're all out of focus like that, it's hard to discern whether it's actual some kind of paranormal activity or just poor camera workmanship, and that's usually me.
Oh, bless. I'm sure it's not.
No, I'm terrible with the camera.
But you probably excel in other aspects, so that's okay. That is okay.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we have another article. So we've got quite a few tonight, so we're going to kind of plough through somewhat. So we have now this one, right? This one is a little bit for me because I kind of wonder, it doesn't give the full story, whether there is a full story, and it bothers me a little bit. So this is in the Express. It's the woman haunted by Jack the Ripper who burns Bibles at night and throws her downstairs. So what did you think of this article, Jay?
A nice bedtime story, or it would be a cute little mini movie. But other than that, I had a whole lot of things, hard times, for lack of a better term, hard time swallowing a lot of the story. It just seems so Hollywoodish to me.
Well, I mean, do you know what? I'm going to read some of it and then we'll
okay.
I kind of go... Because I'm ready for this, Jay. I'm like, what? Yes. So
here we go.
Yes. Oh. Okay, so there's a lady called Gaynor Issit, and she says that she has terrifying supernatural presence in her home that's been plaguing her household. The 58-year-old mum of three said the evil presence was in fact Jack the Ripper, the most famous murderer who killed 11 women in Whitechapel in 1888. She said the spirit, one of many who haunt the house, burned Bibles at night and even attacked her in her sleep. She described being punched and hit around the head and said her unwelcome guest was also responsible for fires starting inexplicably around the house. Sorry, my speech is terrible, Jay. Sorry. Miss Issit said that she has to share the property in Leicestershire with these evil spirits. The haunted house has several exorcists and priests, all try in vain to rid the property of the ghouls. The poor woman claims she was once dragged from her bed by her ankles by a thuggish poltergeist and has also been pushed downstairs. She said that she spoke out as September began, the month she claims when the ghost is strongest in the house. So she said her house is terrifying, haunted hell, but she refused to move out, claiming that she loves the house where she brought up all of her children. Now, the article goes on in some really fascinating photos, but before we get to the photos, because there could be some explanations for the photos, my issue with this, right, is how can she claim that it's Jack the Ripper? What out of that story do you link? Jack the Ripper was in Whitechapel. She's in Leicestershire. That's the biggest thing. I mean, just going on the fact that she's getting this activity, how did she even make that connection? There's nothing that suggests that connection is even there. So that I don't know why, but that aggravates me the most.
Well, I guess it just proves the point. She's proving the point that ghosts are not trapped in a certain area, that they can travel anywhere they want to go.
But why? But why? Why? Anywhere in the world, yeah. Jay.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's just that's what I'm saying when I made my statement earlier. It makes for a cute little story and a nice little urban legend, but to tie it into Jack the Ripper is such a attention grabber. That if I'm going to be haunted and someone's going to be burning my Bibles and choking me and beating me, it's got to be somebody evil. That's kind of like when you do past life regressions. We was at an event where people had done that, and there's like 40, 50 people in the room, and 6 of them were Cleopatra. How can 6 people come back and all be the same person?
Wow. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's just grabbing at something that's known and famous. That way they can make themselves a better story. And that's what I think this is. The whole thing is pretty much a story. There's not a bit of it in the pictures. I can't recreate myself, and I'm not a camera expert.
Okay, so with the photos, there's the first photo that you're presented is her hand clearly looks, or I'm assuming that's her arm or leg, somewhere that's got hair, looks like it's been grabbed. So you see clear fingerprints. And again, if you're not there, you don't know whether that's been done by someone physical and she's just happened to take a picture of it. But next to it is a photo of what looks to be, to me, light glare. But would you know of a way of being able to create that, or what, in your opinion, whether you're an expert or not, but what, in your opinion, do you think that would be?
With the swirls in the picture, that's at the top. That's just light anomalies where it could be. Looks like the flash was used on the camera, so that could be easy. Well, there's a window back behind it. Could cause reflection of the light. That's just normal. If most of your camera manufacturers actually have a page on there explaining orbs and light anomalies like that, and you can find tons of these pictures from the manufacturer themselves telling you exactly what these things are. They're just that's nothing but out of the lens, dirt on the lens. It could be several thousand different things. That's the bad thing about still photography with paranormal investigating. It's so hard to say that this is, it's a waft of smoke or mist. I can't prove that because I don't see it dissipating. It's there and it's not there. Well, of course, it dissipated. Or you move the camera at a slightly different angle, and now the light's not reflecting off of it. You took a picture, saw your lens was dirty, cleaned it, and then took another picture, and it's gone. Woo-hoo! There's so many things there that just could be so easily be that it's nothing but what they're doing.
Very true. But there is another photo, isn't there? And this is the one of the what she says is the pictures of their family members have it burnt in such a way that you can't see the faces of the family members. Now, it's sitting on a mantelpiece, a fireplace that hasn't got any other damage. The walls aren't damaged. But my issue is that you can tell that the licks of the flame had gone higher than the photo frame itself, just because of the shape of the burntness it's left behind. But there's no damage behind on the wallpaper. So if it happened there, from looking at, now I'm not a fire expert, but Kerry knows a man who can, Kerry Greenaway, but that looks to me as if that's been taken off the mantelpiece, burnt, and then put back.
Exactly. That's been taken off the mantelpiece. That's why it's held a lighter to it. That way they can concentrate the flame. So easy to recreate that right there. That's to me would be completely inadmissible as any form of paranormal evidence. That's just somebody's wanting attention. That's why I said the story makes for a great little Hollywood little mini series story. And that's about it. It's so much of it's so easily debunked and recreated.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, to me,
you can almost,
out of all of it,
almost tell. Look at the base of the flame. Look at the base of the burn marks. You can tell even that it's like a lighter or something that was a small torch area that created that. It's not like it was in a large flame. Something was concentrated on there, and it's just so easily debunked. It's so easily recreated.
And it looks like someone's gone to it with a flame a few times, like 3 or 4 times, because of the indentations of it. Now, I could be wrong. That could be how a flame is like when it's burnt. I'll be honest with you, I don't really like fire, so I don't really have much interaction with it. But go on.
I burn lots of bonfires and things, and I've seen a lot of things burn. I've seen people burn pictures, and that's just for somebody holding a lighter to it. They burn to get rid of a certain face or two out of it. It's completely host right there. That's complete fake. Okay.
Well, again, it's an interesting article, but it aggravated me more. But then I don't know. Out of all of it, though, the most aggravating was the fact that I made that connection. I was like, but why?
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, and with those, the handprint on the arm or leg, if you fall asleep and you lay your hand and you lay your face and your hand on your arm long enough, or you lay on top of it, it leaves those same marks. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. But we're going to be fast coming up to a break. But before we do, I have to share. Now, Kerry Greenaway has got the Paranormal Debate bug, and she has been sharing some articles with me. And I've encouraged other people as well. So some of our listeners, if you come across any articles that you think would be perfect for the show, please feel free to post them on the group page or to the like page. Or if you have any of the presenters as friends, then just give them a little tag for them to be able to send it over to me, or for the next couple of weeks, Jay or Paul Rook. But Kerry has done that this week. And she sent me this one, and it's the naked woman with webbed toes found sopping wet near lake, claims to be mermaid called Joanna. So Kerry can share that for me into the chat room. Now, this article is screaming Splash. I'm reading it, and it just seems to be the plot of Splash. So the lady herself was found in California.
Oh, that's the first thing.
She has webbed feet, and she says a naked woman with webbed toes was found sopping wet near a lake, claiming to be a mermaid called Joanna. She told the police he found her wandering near the casino in California at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, that she had been in the water and needed their help. They've asked her questions, and she's basically said doesn't seem to know who she is, and has responded don't know to a lot of their questions. And they're calling her Jane Doe in posters asking for help to identify her. Now, this isn't such a paranormal article, but it is an interesting one for the fact that you know, it kind of shows the type of mentality and what is out there. Now, webbed toes isn't paranormal. That's something that people are born with for whatever reason. So, but she claims that she's a mermaid.
If I had webbed toes, I'd claim that too. You know, that way I can get some popularity. It's like, oh, look, give me my 15 minutes of fame. I'm in California.
But it does remind me of the film. It does remind me of the film Splash, with Tom Hanks in it, with the mermaid that washes up and he finds her naked and then kind of takes her home. She can't speak at first, and then she can. She gets a job. They end up loving each other forever and ever. Amen. But it does kind of a little bit remind me of that.
Her claiming to be a mermaid is the only part of it. The rest of it, she looks nothing like Daryl Hannah. Don't worry, I'm no Tom Hanks, so we're good.
Those are little facts. They're little facts. But it is an interesting article nevertheless. But with that, we're going to be going to a quick break, and we'll be back with you after this.
You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Great Paranormal Debate, and I am Kerry Ann, and this is Parasearch UK Radio, and I am joined this evening with Jay Lynch. Thank you for joining us again. So we've had a couple of articles, and now we're going on to another picture-based article. And this article is in the Mirror, and it says family searching for answers after capturing ghostly image on lawn of new home. Now, I literally have no idea what this, not a Scooby, what this is. So I'm hoping that Jay will be able to give me some insight of what he thinks may have created this little creature. So hopefully Kerry will be sharing the article into the chat room, so have a look yourself. But this is basically what's happened is someone's gone out to the garden. They've decided to take a picture of the moon because it was an abnormally large moon that evening. They've taken 2 consecutive pictures with about 2 seconds kind of time apart. But in the second one was a really weird creature in. Now, I've looked at this image and it looks really weird. It looks like it's got like hair. It looks like it's got dog legs, and it has a shadow.
That's one of the things I was noticing right off the bat, that it does have a shadow. The dog legs, I kind of differ on that. It looks like the leg closest to us is bent at the knee, like it's walking. The other leg standing straight. It's bent at the knee, and again, had just taken a step or tapped their toe on the ground. It looks like it could be some form of elemental or fairy, but yeah, it's so out of focus.
I know. I mean, it could be that. I don't know. We've just completely dismissed the mermaid. Can we really?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying this could be easily faked. I mean, you could make a mannequin or a creature look like this out of limbs and twigs.
But it's moving.
Put a mask up. You can't. It looks like it's moving. It looks like it's moving. This, once again, that's the bad thing about having a still photography. You can do a lot of things with it. Moving the camera just slightly when you're taking the picture. I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert, but I know a lot of people that are, and they've shown me how they can and tell me how they can fake so many of these things like that to make it look like it's moving. It gives the impression of moving. Doesn't mean that it is. Try to see it in the background. If you look at the 2 pictures side by side, like they are.
It looks like that. Right. Okay. When I looked at these pictures side by side, they said they've got a 2-second time apart from taking their photos, but you can clearly see it's been taken from different angles and by a different distance. So in that 2 seconds, that person had to run back a little bit and then take a picture again. Either that or the first one has been zoomed in. But you can blatantly tell that someone hasn't just stand still and taken 2 pictures side by side.
Yeah, that's why I was going to say this. That's one of the biggest indications it's got to be fake, because if they took it from 2 seconds and with their camera, there's no way, even if they zoomed in, it doesn't change the angle like it has on here. And you can even see the light in the tree that's completely different setup. It's shining through the tree. This is gives so many indications that it's faked.
Yeah,
like, no, 2 seconds they could have moved it much of an angle and everything else, and it's definitely no way.
And also, we've experienced we because of some activity we captured once. We actually tried to see what kind of image you would have if you had a slow shutter rate on a camera. And we did it with different seconds, so 2 second, 3 second, 10 second, 5 second kind of shutter rate, to see what kind of impression you would have had if someone kind of stepped in and stepped out of the photo while that was going. And it didn't look like that at all. So it's not.
If you scroll down, there's the 2 pictures again, and they look like they're from the same angle more. It looks like the first one on the left, on the top, ours is zoomed in a little bit. If you scroll on down, the other one looks like it's not zoomed in.
Yeah, but the second tree's further back, isn't it? It's still not. Again, it's not.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah,
you're right. And they had to change about 3 or 4 steps to the right.
And change the angle in which they're standing as well, so that they're facing more to, say, the telephone pole than they were in front of the telephone pole before. And that could be that they just wanted to get a better view of the moon. But still.
In 2 seconds?
I know. And it doesn't really... But it's the shadow as well. But then again, if it was something that was put there, then,
it's going to create a shadow.
Yeah, plausible. But it is still interesting. So the person that posted was called Me, Tarzan, You, Jane, and assures people that he didn't doctor the image. You choose whether you want to believe it or not. On this Reddit thread, there are a number of explanations photographers are fascinated with. We like this idea best because the mystery and the supernatural are more thrilling proposition than a broken lens, aren't they? And someone else did comment, it's an beep leprechaun, which made me laugh. They're saying it's a leprechaun. But the photos were posted to Imgar, I've not heard that before, by Me, Tarzan, You, Jane, who wrote, a family member of mine snapped these 2 photos on the night of the abnormally large full moon. The time frame between the 2 photos was approximately 2 seconds. What interests me is neither of these family members have heard of Photoshop, much less used it. This was taken in front of a yard of a house they had recently purchased and hadn't even completely moved into. Things I've noticed that intrigued me appeared to be 2 hind legs. It produces a shadow in comparison to the first photo, and it mostly obtrudes beside it, and what I assume is a face.
And I just put it in the chat room just now. The first thing I thought of when I seen it is, I am Groot.
Wow, it is. I don't know. Is it leprechaun?
Isn't it amazing that after that movie comes out, we were having all kinds of tree-like spirits and pictures and anomalies.
Yeah, but again, this article was posted 15th of Jan 2017, so it's a fairly recent one.
Yeah, right after Guardians of the Galaxy, and Groot was such a popular character.
Could have been him.
Just saying.
Could have been him.
It's his cousin.
Just put it out there.
I'm sorry.
We'll never know. Maybe. Because it looks like to be in America. So maybe what needs to happen is I need to come over to America. Someone has to, and out the team, and go and investigate, because that's obviously not my lifelong dream to be able to do, and I'd be doing a service as well for all the investigators out there. Just
come on over, we'll take care of it. I'll get all the contacts you need. We'll get into something.
Oh, it sounds like a plan. We definitely need to make that happen. I would love it. I'm taking Kerry Greenaway with me.
We're heading to Waverly tomorrow night, so.
Oh, are you? Oh.
Yes, and with John Zaffis and Dustin Perry and Steve Gonzalez.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun evening.
It is. Are you going to be doing anything for the radio with it?
I'm going to record and get some interviews if I can. I can't promise anything. Amazing. Since they got like 120 people that's paid tickets to get into this thing. Luckily, we're friends with Jenny Stewart. She's got us a hook up through it and stuff, and through Paranormal Radio, we're getting to get to do a few things there that way.
Well, I'm just putting this out there. You don't need to do it. But what I would do is get a voice recorder. I'd have it running all night, and I'll just randomly ask really random questions at points, and then I'll take that home. I'll edit it, pull it together, and it'll look like an interview.
Oh, I can tell them that I'm going to be asking questions. They don't care. I understand that Mr. Zappis is looking forward to talking to me because he's been told by one of our mutual friends about my incident, so he's got questions.
Well, yeah, I had questions. I think that's only normal. Even after I had a conversation with you about it, I then spoke to Kerry Greenway about it because I was just like, I don't know, like how.
We're getting off topic here.
But I will say, her answer was like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm intrigued by that story, so I don't blame him either. So if I do ever speak to John Zappis, I'll ask him.
Now, speaking about some of the things we were talking about, did you get a chance to look at the article that I shared with you about the one that I'm probably going to be picking out the most and being the most meanest about is the one about the Ouija board and the demonic possession?
No, I haven't. My computer wants to be loaded, but I am very interested.
I forgot. It's basically it's the stereotypical story that two young men down in Peru were playing with the Ouija board and they got possessed because they didn't know what they were doing. Somebody had told them that they could contact spirits with it, so of course they tried, and they got possessed by demons and had to have the local priest come in, and all he did was douse them with holy water and touch them with the Bible to dispel the demons. I know there's somebody in our chat room that's going to be like, "Oh, really?"
What do you mean there?
It's I cannot stand these kind of stories. These absolutely, to me, are offensive almost because it's such a Hollywood hype that's created a situation with the Ouija board. It's no different piece of equipment than anything else with us trying to communicate with something that you cannot control or understand. It's just amazes me how people still are claiming this. It irritates the hell out of me. I'm sorry about my language. Oops. But it does. It's just so wrong to sit there and play this story out over and over again. And it's always, I've never found one person. I've been in the paranormal now for 6.5 years, almost 7 years now. I've been to a lot of events, talked with a lot of people here in the States, and everybody's like, well, somebody's got possessed by a demon. Who? Well, my best friend's sister's cousin's buddy's niece's nephew's dog. It's never anybody that can straight say it was me or I did. And, you know what I mean? Can you guys find anybody that actually claims to have 100% a guarantee that they have either been with somebody or had themselves possessed by a Ouija board?
No, I haven't. But I will say that in the UK, my experiences with the Ouija board, it's not used as freely and as regularly as it is in the States. Whereas I think we are, we have Paul Rook, who's fantastic with the Ouija board, and we do have people that use it, but we still do. It's still a big, it's like a big taboo for us. I think over here, yeah, huge
taboo. You usually mention the Ouija board. In fact, there's friends of ours that have a wonderful group, out of Lafayette, Indiana, absolutely wonderful team, great people. And they were talking about, they posted an article about spring cleaning, and they posted an article about the proper way to get rid of your Ouija board so you don't have any kind of attachments or anything. I'm like, seriously? If y'all guys are that scared of them, I'll pay the postage. I'll come pick them up, send them to me. They're like, you'll collect them and use them? I'm like, yeah, I'll collect them and use them. I'm not afraid of a piece of cardboard and plastic. Bring it on.
Yeah. See, we had a friend who actually slept with his underneath the bed, and when he told me and Kerry that he slept with us Sorry, Freudian slip. When he said they slept with it underneath his bed, we were like, no, you are nuts. You need to get it out of your room. You need to, because for us, it is a tool, but it's a very powerful tool, and one that has a kind of effect on people. But that's because of our teachings and our understanding of it over here, I suppose.
Well, to me, it's no more of a powerful tool than what you believe in. If you put your faith into dowsing rods, then it's a powerful tool too. if you put your faith into your pendulum and you trust and believe in it, then it's a very powerful tool also. The tool is only as powerful as the person who has it in their possession and using it and how much they believe in it. And if you want to believe that it's evil and you believe that there's an evil connection to it, then in your mind, that's exactly what you're going to get. That doesn't mean it's what's really going on, but that's what your mind's going to interpret into, and that's exactly what you're going to get because that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
So it just makes me so mad when I see these articles about demonizing anything. I don't give a crap what piece of equipment it is. It just ticks me off to no end. It's so narrow-minded, and I'm supposed to be the dumb redneck over here, and I'm smart enough to figure it out, so it can't be that difficult.
I don't necessarily agree with the end of what you just said, but I do agree that there's a lot of ignorance around certain aspects of investigations. I mean, there's some people that are completely ignorant and just think that even going into a place trying to talk to a spirit, if there's spirits that exist, is enough to be condemned to hell. And other people, it is, there is education, knowledge is the tool, and I think the more you know about something, the more you're aware and you know. So, yeah. Oh,
my mom's one of them. She's the old Southern Baptist over here, and like I've talked with Kerry Greenaway before on our show, she's like, we don't have so much of that over here. I said, because you guys, all your religious zealots over there left and came over here to have religious freedom, so we got all the freaks. and they're so overbearing superstitious, it's unreal. It's no longer based off religion. It's based off of superstitions and fears. And what somebody said, well, I want to read and interpret it this way, and I'm going to get my little following to listen to me. And now we get a congregation of people that's all listening to one person and his interpretation instead of actually opening their minds and learning and listening for themselves.
Yeah. So we have, we do have that, not as bad, but over here, there is people that won't come near me and my little family because of what I do, and sadly they won't play with, their kids won't play with my kids' situation. And so we do have that a little bit, but it's not nowhere near as,
See, you all are so nice about that stuff because me being the way that I am, I would be like, oh, so now you want to penalize the children because you're mad at me. Well, I'm going to give you a little curse. I'd leave little packages on their doorstep to see what they did. I would. It'd be an empty box, but I'd just see how, because then it would be their own superstition and fears that was actually causing the situation than actually anything that's realistic. And that just proves the point that it's so delved into their mind and their beliefs and their own stupidity in reality.
Yeah, no, all I did was, it was one of the children's birthday, so what I did was made her a bracelet of crystals and wrote an explanation of what the crystals were for. I was like, there you go, give this to your friend.
Absolutely. Here's an explanation. Educate yourself. And you know what's the bad part about it is? It's probably like my dad, God rest his soul, hated the group Kiss. They were not a religious man at this time, but hated them because they were so demonic or just demonic looking. And one of my mom's friends gave us a Kiss album for Christmas, and I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. We had to give it back, even as a gift, because he was that bad against them. I'm like, seriously, Dad? You use profanity like it's your first language, and you're scared of a guy in makeup?
Yeah. She never got it back. Whether the girls got it or whether it's buried in the garden, I'm not sure. Or whether it was taken to the church to be blessed. I have no idea.
I'm sorry for such a rant, but that is just one of the things that absolutely drives me crazy in this field is how people put so many personal superstitious beliefs on an item without any form of knowledge or background to it.
Yeah. She's lucky I never put a pentagram on it. God, that would have blown their mind.
That's why somebody the other day said we had something over at our house. We had some friends that are semi-religious because they're religious 3 days a week. But they came over and they saw something that Teresa had a pentagram on. They're like, it's upside down. I said, stand the other way and look at it, dummy. Flip it over, moron. It's that easy. It's now right side up. Woo!
No. Ignorance is bliss, maybe, but knowledge is power. So, people do need to educate a little bit more.
Ignorance is just plain damn annoying.
Yes, and that, yes.
And I fight back with it. I can't help it.
No, I do. I have to. Me and Kerry often have little rants off. But going back to, because we're running out of time. And we have the show following, which was with Mark and Kerry, after this one at 9:00. So this is a story that I wanted to speak to you about because we started off with the first story about the Black Monk of Pontefract, and now I'm now looking at an article called shadowy hooded ghost monk called Cuthbert, caught on camera stalking English pub in creepy footage. So if Kerry could share that for me, because that comes with a video. Now, no, this video. Oh, like I don't even know where to start with this video. So did you watch it?
Several times.
I am right now. Okay. Now. Okay, so I mean, I don't know whether I'm being really ignorant myself here, so I have to acknowledge that I may be after having my rant of ignorance. But that looks like a pretty solid figure. Now, I've looked at it. You can't see anything behind it. It's very distinct against the background. It looks solid. Doesn't look see-through. So that whether it's a shadow or a person, yes, shadow or person, or whether it's a reflection or whatever created that, how the person that panned up to that window, unless they weren't actually looking with their eyeballs, how did they not see that? How
could you miss that? And my personal thing on this would say the letters to describe this would be I don't know, BS.
And you just and the fact that they just happened to just at that moment, in that out of the 24 hours in the day, they just happened to pan up for what, maybe 2-3 seconds, 4 seconds. Of the 4 seconds, it just happened to capture the monk, and they didn't at any point.
You mean the hooded sweatshirt?
Oh.
Well, you look to the windows to the left. There's rooms up there, and there's obviously lights on in the room to the two windows to the left. So therefore, and on up the door, there's further up the building, there's more lights on. So and the second window, the farthest window on the right is open. So it's obviously a room inhabited by people. Or just a person in a hooded sweatshirt walking around in a room. Oh, it's a ghostly monk.
It's
okay.
It's definitely. Is
this Friar Tuck?
Well, reading on to the article, I mean, this one it's kind of I can't even speak. I've not got no words for it because I can't. The shadowy figure of a hooded monk, a ghost monk, has allegedly been caught on camera after a dad of two spotted it stalking an English pub. A man visited the Rutland Arms in Newark in Nottinghamshire last year while shooting an episode for their ghost hunting TV show when they say their spirit was caught on their camera. The TV director claims that everyone on the location was accounted for at the time the apparition was caught and claimed it must be supernatural. Local stories in the area tell of a monk who used to wander the secret underground network of tunnels and goes by the name of Cuthbert. The footage shows a dark figure walking past the top living quarter windows, which was empty and is believed to be the first time the monk has been caught on camera. Sean from Liverpool in Merseyside said, "We saw it, we were wondering who the figure was, and we enhanced it. We could tell it was something that shouldn't have been there. When we saw it, we got excited. It's great when you capture something like that because it validates our investigation. The crew were taking pan shots and they didn't even realise the figure was walking across the window, so no one was in that room." Now, I'm looking. What would be even better, right, is if, and even then you couldn't tell for definite, but would be if they had a group photo of the people that were involved in the evening, just to show what they were wearing. I mean, it doesn't take away the fact that they could have removed the item of clothing, but it would have been, more to it than just
anytime. And this is one of my things. Anytime that you think that you have to circle something, point arrows to it, bring attention to it so somebody else can see it, or tell somebody, interpret it for them to hear what's being said. If you have to do all that, then it's probably really nothing. It's more like your own paranoia or something that's very explainable, and you're just excited about it.
I mean, to be fair, they didn't even need to circle the window. It is so.
If I can't see that in the film without you circling it and pointing an arrow to it, I don't need to be a paranormal investigator.
No, I mean, I can't believe that the videographer didn't even see it. Like, how did they not even see that? I don't. But then, no, do you know what? Right, playing devil's advocate, a word that I've taken from my days dues.
You can't play devil's advocate. That's bad.
No, right? Because right, looking at the film, the video, I know that he can see. I know that if I stand in my back garden and look up to the first floor window, all I can see is net curtain. Very rarely would I be able to see through that window and the back wall. I don't know. I mean, if I stood further away, say for like,
but they did have an awful lot of bright light outside reflecting back off the other portion of the building, so you would have light reflecting in. I agree. Could you see that far into the building?
No, and it's not. No. So, where were they standing? Is there a bit of a dip, and then there's like a bit of a step where they can stand on, and they're not level with the ground floor? They're more, higher up, and they're able to be able to see into that room. There's no way they would have been standing. And also, if you look at the video, they're not far from the. He's literally maybe 5 foot, 6 foot, no, maybe a bit more, because the man with the lighting is probably about that.
He's awful close to the building for the angle and all that. I mean, he's got to be on something a little bit of a rise for the angle that he's getting. To me, he would be more upward. It's nothing. It's to me, it's absolutely nothing. It's somebody walking in there with a well, I hate saying this word, with a hoodie, as they say over here, a hooded sweatshirt. They're wearing a sweatshirt with the hood pulled up. Big deal. Somebody walked in front of the window. Mm-hmm. It's a hotel. We account for everybody on our crew. Okay. So are you guys saying that they didn't say that that they'd rent out the entire hotel, that there was no other patrons staying there that night? No. So they actually got the entire hotel and the pub all themselves for a night like that.
The thing is as well, I have to acknowledge at this point that it was recorded for a TV show. So no publicity is bad publicity. For people that want to get something out there. This is a more recent article. This was something that was published on the 29th of March 2017. Maybe we should go. I think that's what we need. That's the only way we're going to be able to really answer our questions and to really validate our opinions, is to go along.
Make sure you get your green floodlight. Well, that's what they're using. It's not like it's on night vision. It's quite obvious that they're using a green floodlight to get that look of that we're filming at night. So, not that I would pick up on that. My bad.
No. He's telling us tricks of the trade.
Oh, it's simpleton stuff. I mean, I'm no professional by any means, but luckily, with working with Christopher Booth and several other people that do film, and I've filmed a few episodes with some other friends of mine on some other channels and stuff, but that's so obvious. You see the color of the building until they pan down to the green floodlight to give that a look that, oh, look, we're filming at night. We've got our night vision on. That's why it's green. No, it isn't. It's your green floodlight, jackass.
So they could be filming daytime?
They're filming it in the evening and at night, but they're using a green floodlight because they don't actually have night vision cameras.
I see. It's interesting.
So if we put a green floodlight on everything, it looks like we're using the infrared, the green light, or because that's what it does. It's a lot of the shows actually filmed during the daytime. They put a green filter over the lens to make it look like they're filming at night.
Right.
Just like cellophane film or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that's so.
Well, on side note, they're quite an attractive paranormal team. I will say that. Yeah,
They probably have some wonderful things, but that one right there, I would completely not ever put out.
Well, we are coming to the end of our show. Sadly, I have no time for Paranory tonight, which I love doing, but I will be doing next week. But I wanted to say thank you so much, Jay, for joining me this evening.
Thank you for having me.
No, I've really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for our next show together.
Next week.
Yes. Yeah, and you'll be super comfortable at that point, so I'm really excited for that.
Oh, I'm comfortable now. I'm just trying to hold back so I don't sound too bashing on anybody.
No. It's okay. It's that kind of party. That's what we're here for. So next week, bring the chips.
Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. I've had a lot of fun, Kerry. It was nice working with you tonight.
No, thank you very much. And thank you for Kerry Greenaway for helping us with the studio and with the chat room this evening. Thank you for that. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Mark and Kerry Greenaway's show is up next. If you want to listen, you should listen. Stay tuned. Just refresh the page. Keep refreshing until the actual show itself pops up. Once it does, and just push play and have a listen to the guys tonight. They've got a really fascinating Epping Forest episode tonight. And I've been listening to some of the research with Kerry. Me and Kerry have been chatting about some of the things that she's come across today, and it is absolutely amazing. So you really do need to have a listen tonight. So stay tuned. And with that, I say good night.
Night all.
You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.